This just might be better than your Thanksgiving dinner. Hey y'all, it's your girl Chef Joya, and welcome back to Say What is Vegan. First things first, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe because this is where you're gonna find the best vegan recipes there is. We are getting ready for the holidays, and I have a very special recipe for you all. I've made this recipe for years, and it's actually in my cookbook, Brunching with Chef Joya. Wait, just for a moment, let's talk about Brunching with Chef Joya because I don't do enough recipes from that cookbook. And when I tell you that cookbook is fire, it's like all the recipes that you're gonna need for an elevated brunching experience. And I have in there my rosemary, garlic, no lamb chops. Let that sit with you for a moment. When I tell you, baby, this recipe is everything. Whether you're vegan, thinking about being vegan, don't even know what a vegan is, you're gonna enjoy this recipe. It is a seitan-based recipe that you could tweak many different ways. And I'll actually be doing it slightly different from my cookbook because since I wrote that cookbook back in 2022, there are new products that are on the market and things that I did not have access to before that I now have access to, like my seasonings were not out when I produced that cookbook. My seasoning Red House is going to steal the show with this. Let's go ahead and get into this rosemary, garlic, no lamb chops. All right, I think this is the first video that I'm doing in a while that I'm not actually doing a voiceover for, and it kind of feels like really good because I've been doing voiceovers because I've been self-filming, and it's just been easier, especially with the baby, and it's been a lot of like people in and out the house, so it's starting to finally quiet down. So yeah, happy no voiceover. So this is some real-time action for you. So should I go back to having a production company film my footage? Do y'all like that better, or do y'all like the self-filming better? Let me know because I don't mind spending money on having professional production, but it feels like y'all watch the videos that I film myself, and I'm like, it takes a lot more time for me to do it, but I don't know. Tell me what y'all like. Do y'all like the self-filming or do y'all like the professional videos? Go back through my videos and let me know what you think. We're gonna start off by using Vital Wheat gluten flour. You can get this at Whole Foods. You can get this at a lot of grocery stores. You can get it online, and they have many different brands. Now, this recipe, as I said before, is going to be a little bit different than what is in my cookbook because I have different products available. And that's one of the things that y'all always have to know. Just because you may not have something in a recipe, you can always substitute it with other things, okay? Now, nothing, honestly, for me, substitutes Vital Wheat gluten flour. But like in my cookbook, I use TVP. I forgot the TVP at the store because I started buying everything other than what I was supposed to be buying. I went into Whole Foods to get one thing, actually two things, and came back out with about 30 things. So I didn't get the product. So instead of using the TVP, I did buy these vegan bratwursts, and I'm going to use that as my TVP substitute, okay? And this one is actually made out of pea protein. They smell pretty good. They actually smell like bratwurst. Okay, Whole Foods, I see you. So I'm taking it out of the casing, and I'm going to go ahead and use my chopper, okay? Now this is just adding texture to my Seitan, all right? Because you know Seitan can be like thick or it's flat. It's pretty one note. Seitan is really what you make it. That's why when you see people use like tofu, beans and things like that, it helps give a different texture. Now, if you don't want to use any meat substitutes, you can go ahead and use like some type of bean. I would recommend maybe like a northern bean because it's super creamy. I wouldn't do a black bean just because it won't give what it needs to give. Maybe you could puree a red bean if you want to do that, but other than that, I will just leave it alone, okay? So I'm only going to use 2 of the sausages, and I am going to, y'all know your girl don't measure. I measured in the cookbook, but I'm just going to pour about 2. I thought this was oat flour. I was like, oh my God. So I'm going to pour about 2 cups of my Vital Wheat gluten flour. Okay, I think that's about 2 cups. It's about that much. That's how much it is. Now, in my cookbook, when I did this, I was like, use garlic powder, chili powder, paprika, blah, 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 salt, pepper. Child, at the time, Red House was not out. So, baby, I am using Red House because Red House got all the seasoning in it that you need. That's exactly why I came up with these seasonings because I use so many different seasonings when I'm cooking. And I was like, let me just put everything in a bottle, okay? So, you know, you're making something beefy, porky, gamey, lamby, boom, Red House. You know you want to use some poultry, okay, golden chicks. If you want to use something that all-purpose season that you can put it on everything, I can put that on everything. You're going to use Just Magic, okay? So if you're a recipe girly or a recipe man, go ahead and cop the cookbook, okay? And cop the cookbook anyways and do yourself a favor. It's Brunching with Chef Joy. We'll have the measurements in it. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and add in my vegan beef bouillon. Actually got this from the Dollar Tree, y'all. Yes, that beef bouillon is vegan. I love black pepper for this recipe. And although that my Red House season does have garlic, these are the rosemary garlic. You hear that? Garlic lamb chops. So I'm going to add a little bit of extra garlic powder to it. All right, so I'm going to add this is actually ground rosemary, so I'm going to add a little bit in there because we want those flavors to pop. So I'm going to give this a nice mix around. Now, another thing that I like to use in my Seitan recipes, especially when it's a meat substitute that has chew to it, you know I got to go with my rice paper. That rice paper is key to getting those textures and the gristle and things of that nature because, you know, I don't know if any of y'all remember eating lamb chops, even though it's soft and it's tender, you still got that little snap back. And that's what rice paper does to these recipes. So I'm going to take a couple pieces of rice paper and I'm going to put them in some hot water for about 15 seconds. And then I'm just going to tear some shreds and add this right to my bowl. Oh, this is some good rice paper. You can tell when you got some stale rice paper because that thing just breaks. I'm going to add some vegan Worcestershire sauce, or this is actually some more steak seasoning. I call mostly all these liquid umami vegan Worcestershire sauce, but you could actually buy vegan Worcestershire sauce, which the one at a big store I don't like per se, but you can find it. Or you could just use soy sauce or coconut aminos or Bragg's aminos. I'm gonna add a little bit of liquid smoke. Now, actually, it was a lot of it. Hope it wasn't too much because we all know too much liquid smoke will make your food taste like a ashtray, okay? And then we're gonna add in some browning because right now it is bald head and nobody want to eat no bald head lamb chops. Then we're gonna take our rice paper, and y'all see how that looks. Look at our gristle. Look at our fat. Yeah. We're gonna add in our fat. Okay. All right. Then you want to add in your olive oil or grapeseed oil, whatever oil you choose to use. And then we're gonna add in some water. I'm just gonna use the water from my rice paper. Now, if you have vegetable broth, you can also do this as well. And you want to start giving this a nice mix. Get in here, get into this, get into all of this. Let me stop being cute and get in here with my hands. This needs to form. Okay, so in my cookbook, I make my lamb pieces, and I'm going to show you how I do that. And I steam them. I love doing the steaming process over braising the lamb chops in liquid because I don't have to worry about the extra moisture and allowing that to drain out, and it just doesn't need that texture. The only time I really usually braise my Seitan mixture is if I'm making like a chicken nugget, or if I want to make brisket, something that you want it to be moist in the inside after you do everything that you need to do on the outside of it. So what I decided to do that's very different than my cookbook is I want to make a bone. So this is a piece of daikon. You can find these at the Asian markets at most grocery store. I want to try to use this as my bone. I've never made a vegan bone before, and you can actually buy vegan faux bones if you choose. But I'm going to try to see if I can shape this into a bone. Oh, you know what I could have used? I just thought about it. A yucca or cassava. That actually holds up really. I was not thinking. Guys, we're going to see how this daikon do. But if you can, you see this video, get a cassava or a yucca and make sure you peel that and use that as your bone. Because I think that'll do really good. Because that holds up really well in heat, and you don't have to worry about it getting, you don't have to worry about it getting too flimsy. Dang. Now what I'm doing, I'm trying to carve it to like a little lamb chops bone. You know how like the lamb chops got the little curve to it. We're going to see, child. We're going to see. Because I feel like this is going to fall apart. I do use foil. If you don't want to use foil, you can do this with, you can actually do this with cheesecloth. So I'm going to go ahead and make my little lamb piece. Y'all see that? Now, usually I have it like triangle lambs. I shape it that way. And I also want to make sure that this is flatter because you got to remember your Seitan is going to double in size. So it's going to puff up. So you don't want to have it too thick because texture is everything, especially when it comes to this vegan lifestyle cooking. Texture will mess up a lot. In my head, I kind of want to make this look like a little lamb lollipop, but I don't know. Let's just see. I know the flavor gonna be good. That's what I think I could do. Look at this, y'all. It's already saying, nah, chef. You know, we gonna still try. So I'm gonna cover it up. And I'm gonna sit it to the side and do the rest of these. And some of these are not gonna have the bone, so I'll do a triangle shape. Matter of fact, let me show you what it looks like in triangle shape. So I kind of like tuck it just like this with my hands. Like, see, I'm making a triangle. Flatten it some. Then I just take my foil. So right here. And I want to make sure that it holds its shape too. So even when I put my foil on there, I'm maneuvering it around. So I got that here, here. And I want to make sure it keeps its triangle shape, okay?
I just wanted to show you all up close on how to do this. This is the technique that I usually use. And this one is more circle because I am trying to get this lollipop. And I'm going to say this about 2 more times. Try to use a yuca. Don't do the daikon because it did get soft. I mean, it was delicious. Don't get me wrong, but it did get soft. Next, I'll go ahead and put this in my steamer basket. I steam this for about 35 to 45 minutes. You don't want it to get too tough, but you also don't want it too soft. And then you're going to remove it from the foil. And then this is when you're going to actually spray your nonstick pan. And you want to make sure it's like smoking, piping hot. And then you're going to add onto your seitan pieces. Next, you're going to flip that over. Then you're going to add in your vegan butter. And you can use whatever kind of brand you like. Then you'll add in the rest of your seasonings. I like to add in my vegan Worcestershire sauce, some brown sugar, a little bit of rosemary or a lot of bit of rosemary. Then I also go ahead and add in some garlic and some balsamic vinegar. You can also add in some red wine to this as well. You're gonna let this cook for about 2 minutes, and you have to be careful because seitan will soak up the liquid because it is flour, guys, all right? And the full measurements are in my cookbook, and you can also increase or reduce those as needed. So I'm plating it up with my creamy polenta, my balsamic green beans, and then I'll add my lamb chops, and I did make a little bit more jus for some more sauce. These rosemary garlic lamb chops are one of my favorite dishes in my cookbook, Brunching with Chef Joya, and I don't know why I have not shared this with you all sooner. For some reason, I thought I shared this a long time ago, and I went back through all my videos, and I had not. But like they say, there is no time like the present, and I cannot wait for you all to try this recipe out.
All right, guys, we are done, and this dish looks absolutely delicious. I cannot wait to try it. So let's go ahead and dig into it. Ooh, it's nice and tender. Now we're going to, as I said before, we're going to do away with these. We're going to use yuca next time. All right. For the moment of truth. Wait, those are good. Ooh. Wine is a little strong. Ooh, it's so freaking delicious. It is sweet. It is savory. It's like bold. It's smoky. This is going to be the perfect dish for your holidays. With this on top of this creamy polenta, and then you have your nice buttery green beans with the balsamic sauce. This just might be better than your Thanksgiving dinner. I cannot wait for you all to try this recipe out. I'll make sure I include the links below where you can find my cookbooks and my seasonings. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments below, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and let everyone know where you're going to find the best vegan recipes there is. I'm Chef Joya, and I'll see you next time on Say What is Vegan. Ciao.